Charles. We have Michael, Jace, and Braden here. Actually, I'm gonna just take this. We set up the table here, so this is gonna be our map in which we project stuff off. That's not the map. That's my background for my computer. We have our rolling trays, keeping everything good. This is my DM section here. So part of the setup that I'm doing right now is I'm just finishing getting some of the creatures for the combat encounter that we're gonna play. Part of it will also be handing out dice to everyone. I got my books and stuff ready, and there is going to be a map that is designed on the computer that is projected over here. But right now, just getting some points to get some creatures ready for the game. But major entities like the United Kingdom still exist. However, the United Kingdom, a monarchy that is now has court sorcerers and court warlocks that scry and spy on places around the world. The Mughal Empire, what is now the Indian Empire, is still the largest and most richest nation in the planet, but it gets its riches from magic druids who convert spices and stuff from the ground, and they sort of a steady source of stuff like that. You are all pirates. You are all the enemy of all mankind, with bloodthirsty brigands and cutthroats, and you sail the high seas and commit acts of treason against your nation, robbery against others, and you have committed the sin of murder and other piratey sins. So, before we get into where you guys are right now, I'm going to ask you to each kind of introduce your character with your name to come aboard and search this island. So, who better to do the dirty work than you, rotten scum of the earth, pirates? So your choices so far given to you are: you can go find this treasure, you can act as the Royal Navy's kind of scouts and find it on this island and bring it to them for the crown and for king and country, and you'll be pardoned. Or there's a short stop, or a short drop and a quick stop waiting for you back at the Hangman's Cove. So, we've introduced our characters. You kind of know what you're doing. We're just kind of racing through this intro there, Charles, for this. I'm going to just let you guys cut loose on the island. The British, obviously, they pull back to their ship. I'm going to leave you here on this island. And because I haven't given you very much information, if you have any questions now, or you want to kind of add your own context, because we're kind of creating this together, then that's A-okay for you guys. Is there any preliminary stuff you wanted, or anything?
I'd say we've only been given one clue, is that there is a shipwreck on the south side of the island that has some information on where we could find this treasure.
Alright, yeah, we're going to say, I'll add that in, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown. So, this is a historical fact. The Santa Charles, I know it's kind of messed up there. The Santa Charles, or Chelahaz, has sunk, and that's sunk almost 100 years ago. This is not the time transfer. Has sunk about 100 years ago off of the coast of Ile Cranguejo, and it is a wreck somewhere in the south side of the island here. It is rumored, this is now not a historical note, that there's a cave system that was used by the ancient Aztecs to move around this island. It was somewhere on the island. Maybe you can find the entrance, if it's even true. And this one is, again, a little bit more of just kind of rumor from ships that have gone here. There's a abandoned village somewhere in the center of this island that used to be home to some of the Aztecs. But anyone that's gone in looking for it has eventually gone missing. No one's come back out from there. This is our playtest. We have to do a voiceover because the audio of this gameplay it didn't record it. So we're basically going to go through and add some context to the scenes that are going on right now. So what's happening in the game so far is we have our three pirates. They have been kind of doing some light exploration of the island, and they had their introduction, they introduced their characters, and they've already committed the first sin of D&D, and they split up the party. So if you can see, as you look on the table, Braden and his character, the bosun Bloody Baldric, who's in the
Bloody
center of the
Baldric.
map. He's exploring the village in the center of the island, while the other two guys have gone over to the wreck of the Spanish treasure galleon, the St. Charles. So right now we're kind of going through exploration, and I'm kind of explaining the rules of around exploration for them in this game. Which in this case, I is using a system that I have called the campfire system. That I it's like an add-on, a kind of fan created system that I really like. So I was running them through that to get to their spots. Anyone else can jump in as well. This part.
Okay, in this scene, we are, well, I, Bloody Baldric Bosun, am exploring the island, and I did one of the first mistakes any D&D player could do, and that is leave your teammates alone. Um, Unfortunately, it did work out for me, as I used my survival instinct, made proper rolls, really high rolls, which was in my favor. I had found the village after climbing a tree and following some tracks into the forest. Yeah, I got up the tree, seen a bit of smoke, seen the top of some old sheds, which looked like a village to me, so moved forward and using my perception and again rolling high rolls, I made it to the village and found that it was abandoned with food and coconuts to drink, and I started looking through the sheds, found nothing, so collected up my food and coconuts and headed back to my teammates, who were lucky to make it to the ship.
And yeah, and then on me and Jace's side, we didn't have as much exploration during the sequence. Braden had more because he was in the lush forest. We essentially just rolled well enough and used our skills pretty well to navigate across the beach and run across pretty quickly. And then when we got there, we just located the ship and found the sunken ship. I forgot the name. Darren said at the intro and beginning of the video.
Yeah, the Santa Charles.
Yes.
The
And
wreck
yeah,
of
we
an
didn't have a
old Spanish treasure galleon. Sorry.
exactly. No. Sorry, sorry, that's my bad.
Good times though.
If you
Yes.
can't tell, Charles, we're running this kind of like a podcast at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just here.
You were there.
In
How was
spirit.
what was his name? What, JB?
What?
Oh yeah. Oh, that also reminds me. Yes, my character's name is Charles. Captain Charles Cutthroat. Yeah. Jace, do you have anything else you want to say about the exploration sequence that we went through?
Yeah, when we all meted up, my character, we used perception to locate that there was sharks in the water, and we did find the ship and found that it was being guarded by sharks. So then we all tried to go over there and try and like bait the shark out. That's when we actually get to our combat sequence.
Yeah. With the combat sequence, these guys had a pretty good kind of bit of not problem solving, but coordination, where the goal was Braden and Jace were going to try and distract the sharks by like cutting open their hand and attracting them over, and all the while Michael would swim pretty stealthily along the seafloor and try and sneak inside the ship. And it actually worked pretty well. So Braden and Jace are off fighting sharks. Michael's getting in the ship by himself until he realizes there are actually mermaids in there, and they are not happy to see him. And so a little bit more of a fight ensued, and I tried to have them have kind of a bit of unique terrain because as I believe Braden mentioned at one point there was a air mechanic we kind of incorporated that was different from the game. Or from basic D&D, like I kind of bent the rules a little bit, just to make it a little more retention. And so they had to try and fight these mermaids while staying in like pockets of air from the ship. And then we cut before this could happen, but one of the mermaids ran over to one of the cannons that had remained dry the entire time the ship was down there, and we kind of cut to black right before this mermaid blew everyone up with a cannon. Like touch on like the rules, because this was your guys' like first time playing D&D, so it's like I would say you guys got a pretty good handle on the rules actually that you had there. There was lots of standing up and lots of yelling
Our
about stuff.
main
Going,
thing, our main thing was like the confusion with like the traveling system,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
using the rolls and like having to think of a proper like idea, I guess, before actually like doing something. Like, how would stealth help me navigate this forest or whatever?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of thinking, and also one of the big things too I found was I broke one of the biggest rules right away. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that helped us or not,
Oh, it
Swing
worked
or
because
out
javelin.
for
like
you. You got a critical
a
hit
critical
chance
hit,
then.
yeah.
Okay, actually, yeah, I'll give him that. That actually saved us because you one-shotted that shark, dude. That was actually pretty fire.
And then that other shark too, we had like just to distract him too, like cutting my hand open, that could have been bad.
Yeah.
I will have to point out, I was the goat, and since I made it to the ship, and they were running out of oxygen, I used my inspiration skill and got them to move farther and make it safely. A captain never leaves his crew behind.
Yeah?
You left my
That was
parents
also
behind.
Okay, we're not going to talk about the backstories. They're not very PG for him.
The movement by the being inspired, like having the characters be inspired to move faster, that was also not in base D&D. That's not how the class works for the bard. But we just kind of, I was like, you know what? It's pretty cool. I like it. It was also a very funny visual of Michael, this pirate. The instrument he had was bagpipes, sitting in the sitting underwater, blowing bagpipes as the mermaids are like, "What is that noise?"
Yeah, it just irritated them.
Yeah,
But I
a
mean,
lot.
it kind of helped us.
Getting a giant orc to just swim like super quickly and then be like a mini dwarf, like all of a sudden they're like, yeah.
Yeah, we incorporated some fantasy elements in the characters as well, so they weren't just humans. Like the quarter or not the quartermaster. Well, yeah, the quartermaster. He was a dwarf, and the bosun of the ship, Bloody Baldric. He was
Courageous enough to pick him up.
well, I was gonna say he was an orc as well.
My long lost brother.
Yeah, that was that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
we
that's
cut it.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cut.